Professor X, you gotta respect him. He has a very interesting looking power grid. Strength of 4. That's like higher than the Super Soldier 2. You know what? And then he got the energy as a 7. Good lord. We don't take this as Bible, but let's get into it. Charles Francis Xavier was born the son of nuclear researcher Brian Xavier and his wife Sharon. Following her husband's accidental death, Sharon married Brian's colleague Kurt Marco. Kane, Kurt's son by previous marriage, came to live at the Xavier Westchester mansion shortly thereafter. Cruel and spiteful boy, he bullied his new step-brother. As punishment, his father secretly beat him, and young Charles felt his siblings' pain firsthand thanks to the emergence of his mutant telepathic powers. As you guessed it, following their mother's death, a fire in the family home took Kurt's life, leaving the stepbrothers alone. By the time he graduated high school, Charles was completely bald as a side effect of his mutant nature. He entered Bard College in New York at age 16 and earned his bachelor's degree in biology within 2 years. He was then accepted into a graduate studies program at England's prestigious Oxford University, where he earned degrees in genetics and biophysics. Charles met and fell in love with a young Scotswoman. Yada yada yada. Somewhere down his adventures after his tragic love events, they began discussing the idea of founding a school for mutants. Charles returned to America and resumed his studies of mutation. He used a special device known as Cerebro to find a group of students, his first students. It's basically a mutant locating computer. Cyclops, Iceman, Angel, Beast, and Jean, who took the name as Marvel at the time. He dubbed these folk as X-Men. Don't expect him to be blasting those cities apart because he's a telepathic being for the majority of his time. He can control your mind and stuff, but he ain't known for blasting stuff away, even though there's been times where he could walk, you know what I mean? But let's get right into it. But before I get right into it, thank you all that have donated to the channel. It helps out a lot. Of course, everybody knows he uses telepathy in the standard way of summoning different characters or just talking to them from far distances. Thanks to his telepathy, communicating with Bishop on this occasion, bothering the X-Men, popping up like out of the blue as like an astral looking face on different occasions, just letting the people know that he's calling upon them. Just standard telepathic stuff. No need to spend 20 minutes or 40 minutes just showing feats like this. You get the idea. He can communicate with telepathy. Even having telepathic meetings, if that makes sense. Scanning jacked up minds can mess his head up though, like demons' minds. It's good to not think about him because he can just kind of pick you up when you're thinking about him. If it worked on everybody, he would be kind of unstoppable. If you're a strong enough character, usually the stronger the character, the harder it is to just go in their mind. Hope, for example, he couldn't just do this and go inside his mind, but nice effort. He's consistently reading memories on plenty of occasions. That's kind of what he shines at. He read Angel's memory on this particular occasion. He even read the mind of everybody that was on the moon. Wow, sick. If you're blind, he kind of can go in your mind and guide you if you need it. Like the time he did this to Wolverine, a blinded Wolverine. Isn't that epic? Kind of can be his eyes for him. Mind is a powerful thing. That's kind of what he specializes at, mind linking. Like he can link you and somebody else's mind even if he isn't necessarily near you technically. Example, he can make you read your girlfriend's mind or something like that. You know what I mean? There was a continent shattering bomb. They had to defuse it with their intellect, their many adventures. They even stated here, entire frozen continent will be decimated within a matter of split seconds. Pretty high stakes. He even linked his mind with Nightcrawler to guide him on different occasions as well. He can protect stuff in a wide radius, like something which threatens the solar system. He can even sense something on a major scale. He almost has spider sense because he was able to sense Spider-Man spying on the X-Men thanks to his just awareness. It's like his psionic ability is always on. It's like in the immediate vicinity. If you're not there or if he doesn't ordain you being there, he can notice, hey, something's not right. Somebody's here. He can probe everybody in the room just to see if they have PSI talent, just to see their level real quick. One of the reasons why the X-Men are such a coordinated team is for the fact that they can mind leak each other in battle, create strategies in each other's mind without having to really speak a single word. He can even probe mechanical brains like Master Mode, for example, the Ultimate Sentinel evidently. That's kind of cool. Even people with strong willpower sometimes can't notice when he starts doing mind probes, like Wolverine, for example, didn't notice. No point in sneaking up on him because he sensed a scroll hiding in the vents. No point in shapeshifting because he detected Mystique. If you want to be sure if somebody's dead or not, he's the first person to really be able to scan and see if somebody's dead. Like the time he knew Jean wasn't dead necessarily. Able to project literal images. Sometimes he has bad dreams that are kind of implying that he can see the future, like prophecy type stuff of astral projection, like talking to Magneto on the astral plane, projecting himself, pulls Rachel into the astral realm and fought the Shadow King on the astral plane, like had like a literal astral plane battle. between the two. X-Men had his back though because he actually got body. Jean was there to help him out. X-Men fight. As you can see, Psylocke, one another psionic being, pick him back up and everything. Seconds can literally be an eternity in a mind world because your mind is all about perception. What happens it might feel like an eternity in your mind, but it really didn't take no time in the real world. It was implied that he was ready to enter the afterlife thanks to astral plane projection and things like that, but he got talked out of it in this occasion. He's responsible for entering Rhodes' mind, literally teaching her or training her how to block out parts of her psyche, in this occasion with Cerebro, training sessions, so that he's like the mental trainer of the group. Wouldn't you say? I'd like to say so myself. Enters Jean's mind and literally watches memories like a television set. They're even spectating with him in the mind. It's the Hulk, like it's literally all in the mind. Mind transference, it's such a convenient ability that Professor has, like literally teaching magic English, like literally gives Kitty all his knowledge about the Shi'ar, the warriors, because he can just transfer stuff. Literally took over multiple men's nervous system, creating an army to do so, to fight with him. If you don't have enough mind resistance, he can just like make you on his side and be your extra body for him to fight with without your consent. He can just make you on his team. Mind is a powerful thing. He literally made Colossus not feel the actual pain even though he was being damaged. He even stopped Colossus' motor functions this one time. States here induced a temporary paralysis. Mind transference. He transferred Jean Grey's mind back to her own body from Emma Frost. There's this time Emma Frost was in Iceman's body. Professor X fixed that as well. He can even stop very powerful beings from using this power on Cyclops like Magneto, like putting psychic illusions on Magneto, so it would kind of aim him in the wrong direction. Whatever this means, it states here, I seeded my telepathic summons through time. When this brotherhood struck, I reached out, letting my thoughts pass from one person to the next, from one mind to the next, until I brought you back to me. It's like his thoughts is slingshotting from person to person, I guess. He has such wide range, he can summon different X-Men from around America. So he can stretch out really far. You see like the little projection of his head, letting them know that they need to come over because we got stuff to do. His mind ability is so strong, he can stop beings in his tracks like Quicksilver, like holding him here, like freezing him. Mind controls Gladiator. Ain't that freaking sick? Clone, might I add. He literally took control of Magneto's power and used it to launch someone into space. Yes, he can control people powerful as Magneto. He removed the mental blocks off of Wolverine. B4. Wolverine has one of those brains not a lot of people would like to go in because his past is not pretty. Hulk in general is one of the hardest people to control. He took control of the mind of Grey Hulk this one time, which was incredible. His mind is as incredible as his might. Implied to be able to do this because they stated here now that he is calm and stuff like that. You know, Hulk's one of those people that's hard to control. The top tiers are harder to control when it comes to Hulk, Thor, etc. But that's what makes Xavier tricky because not every top tier is going to have mental resistance like Hulk and etc. Hulk just be one of those people that does have a strong mind thanks to his multi-personality disorder. There was this one time he even allowed Scott to see through his eyes. Isn't that cool? Was able to paralyze the X-Man. Strong telepaths like Emma Frost can block him though, just to throw that in there. What is his writer intent though? It's been stated that Charles Xavier's mutant brain is the most powerful in existence. Here we got narration again, but even the most powerful mutant mind on Earth can be taxed to its limits. Talking to Juggernaut, Professor is the most powerful telepathic mind alive. Oh, what do you know? Another occasion of them stating Professor Charles Xavier, the most powerful telepath on Earth. It's kind of backed up because Xavier was able to defeat the Dark Phoenix with the help of Jean, of course. Gives you a small idea of his mental paralysis and how he's a helping aid. They even state here, the Phoenix rises, the PSI war begins. Insane young telepath versus her teacher. Defeats Mastermind thanks to her mind ability. Respect it. This guy had a mental battle with Krakow from halfway around the freaking world. Yes, let that sink in. He was a helpful asset in KOing Juggernaut, but remember, Juggernaut did have a weakness to psionic attacks. This is one of the reasons why I don't scale people that can go in your mind and mess you up from the inside your mind the same way I do physical feats of strength, because not all powerhouse tiers in this level are this weak when it comes to mental capacity. Not to mention even Juggernaut himself stronger with mental durability later on in the future anyway. So it's definitely not a guarantee this way. Hey, he did body a war scroll. He literally destroyed Magneto's mind. Like, yikes. Does this to Gladiator, takes him down with his mental capacity. It's a clone. Yeah, there were times in comics he did have his legs back, but this is not too many occasions of his though. I never understood things like this. Like, how the heck do you mind blast a Sentinel? Evil Xavier created X-Men for X-Men to fight, like on some image-inducing stuff. But Xavier beats this fake Xavier. He has the X-Men trained by making mental illusions for them of their said enemies. Like, imagine training sessions like this, the Blob. That's extra epic. Thanks to him being able to go in your mind and alter your perception, he can render himself invisible, basically. He even made the entire X-Men invisible to a large group of people. They can just vanish straight up out of the blue. Makes a woman believe she shot him in the head. Like, cool. Then proceeds to freezing her. I can't move. That awkward moment where he even fooled Cerebro with the mental illusion of the X-Men dying. Let that sink in. That one time he mind wiped the Blob and his boys, erased Spider-Man's memory, edited the memories of Hank's childhood friend. That makes sense. He can counteract psionic weapons. For example, these weapons were warping characters like Storm's memories, but he can counter these said weapons. He can restore your mind. Like, for example, he was able to free Colossus when he was possessed by Shadow King, able to free him from Shadow King's control. There was one point in his career where he actually got a body that can actually walk. I know, shocking, right? It's comics. You knew this would happen eventually. Like I showed earlier with the clone. Like it literally explains here, his legs were crushed by physical repair before, but his new body is in perfect condition, so he can indeed walk. Not too bad physically, able to do this to Wolverine, send him back. This is kind of satisfying seeing him be this acrobatic. Like you can see, like on some Olympic type stuff. Sometimes he has trouble walking just because of the traumatic experience. It even states nothing is wrong with me. It's all in my mind because his mind has been so used to not having legs all this time. It's funny how powerful your mind is. He even's physically able to do this to creatures like Dexum. Punches a war scroll, like I showed a little bit of this earlier. He be adding mental blasts with his physical. He's gotten blasted too, and it's not instant L. Literally played basketball with the X-Men. Like, isn't that funny? X-Men playing basketball. Dodges a punch from danger. Literally exercising again. Like, this dude really training. Everybody knows about his standard gear Cerebro. You know, it enhances his already got like telepathic skills. They even say it's Latin for cerebrum, meaning the brain. Its sole purpose is to aid in detecting new mutant brainwaves to help us locate other mutants, both good and evil. That's the first appearance of Cerebro in comic lore. Uses it to reach out to Moira. Picks up troublemaking mutants. Literally stated that the brainwaves of mutants are different. So that's how you can tell the difference. And then they have the Cerebra. She'll amplify my psychic senses to the 10th power. Like, let that sink in. It even states here, imagine Cerebro's big sister. She can boost the Professor's mutant locating abilities to global range. It's like the sequel to Cerebro. Upgrades through the years. He was able to contact Scott, who's in orbit above Earth from the Institute. That long distance. They're just having fun now. He has like literally a super scooter, I guess. It is stated that he is above Jean Grey. It even stated here, Jean Grey, second only to Professor X in terms of psychic power. Talk about Prep God. Oh, he has this thing called the XAVIER protocol. It states here, it shows in deadly detail how to neutralize each and every X-Man, including XAVIER himself. He knows our strengths, our weaknesses. Dude has literally fought with a truck before. Showed one panel of this earlier. Let that sink in. Overall power of XAVIER, he's a ridiculous threat only because of pure hacks. Physically, he's below the super soldier tier by quite a bit. I wouldn't say he has anything substantial physically. He does seem to be at least human level athletics at least, right? Thanks to the acrobats I showed you. But his main threat is his mind abilities. Physically, he's not really much of a threat. If you're a complete immune to mind stuff, you would probably cream him in a fight. XAVIER even seems to be a trained fighter and can use fire arms if he has to, in this case with Doctor Strange. Best way of his lore you can get right there. He states, I have the power to read minds and project my own thoughts into the brains of others. If I was a writer of Marvel, I would totally make him the best when it comes to telepathy, just because of the fact that's really his only major thing. I feel like if you decide to give a character like one major ability, he should technically be the best at it when it comes to three-dimensional beings. But that's just my personal opinion on how I would personally write him. But there has been up for debate on who's the strongest psionic being in Marvel. For me, I would purposely make him the best if I was writing, because it just doesn't make sense for other characters to have other powers, but they're better at somebody that only has one major ability, right? It just doesn't seem fair, but that could be just me. Even though I will admit it does make sense for his intelligence to be so high in the power grid, because when your brain this smart, it seems like it'll be easy to soak up intelligence. Like you can literally steal somebody's like thoughts or memorization in their brain and put it in and store it in your head, couldn't you? Technically, in theory. And you're not an official X-Men character if you never got possessed by the Phoenix Force. Even Professor X briefly got possessed by the Phoenix Force. Professor X and Lilandra of the Shi'ar Empire had become members of the Starjammers, a group of space pirates, etc. Everybody in the X-Men gets the Phoenix Force at some point. I know. But don't lie. Him wearing this outfit is kind of cool. Even he stated he feels silly in this outfit already. One of the most powerful entities in Marvel. I got a whole video about her. Just to let you know why this is a big deal. Like he's literally showing flying energy blasts, doing what they got to do in these adventures. I've seen it all. haven't we? In this state, he's more than likely a planet buster. So in this state, he's a competent foe with the black hole level beings. Other than that, he's not. That's just about going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know Professor X was this strong? You probably did. He's a beast with mind stuff. They should make him the best, but that's none of my business. But post your comments down below. Let me know what y'all think. Respect Professor X. Respect the X-Men in general. My favorite organization in Marvel. Check out my other X-Men videos and etc.